What's going on, guys, and welcome to another episode of The Winning Shot, where we're going to be talking all things women's basketball today. Last night we had an exciting night of basketball. We had 4 teams in action, and sadly 2 teams had to go home. We had LSU versus Iowa, and we had USC versus UConn. But for this video, I'm going to be focused on the LSU versus Iowa matchup. Now, if you were watching last night, you saw some great basketball. Caitlin Clark put on a clinic. She finished with 41 points, 12 assists, and 7 rebounds, nearly scratching a triple-double. She was on triple-double alert, man. She was going crazy. And in my video yesterday, I talked about the 3 keys that I would be looking for in the matchup between LSU and Iowa. One of the first things that I said was, how is LSU going to defend Caitlin Clark? And they really didn't, if we're being honest. They didn't take away anything. They let her pass, they let her score, and it didn't look too good for LSU. Granted, they were in the game. They were up after the first quarter. It was tied at 45 at halftime. But that third quarter, that flip switched. You know what I'm saying? And LSU started off hot. Iowa started off hot. They were up 10-4 before in the third quarter, before LSU called the timeout. And like I said, they didn't take anything away. I think when you're playing great players, you have to take something away, whether it's their scoring ability, try to slow them down a little bit, switch up your looks on them, or take away the other players. Like, you can't let 2 other players get over double figures, 21 points and 16 points for Kate Martin. Kate Martin had 21, and then Falter had 16. So you can't let that happen if you're LSU. I think defensively, when you look at their game plan, I also mentioned, Caitlin Clark would probably see a heavy dose of Flau'Jae Johnson, Michaela Williams, Last-Tier Poa. I didn't think Hailey Van Lith would be guarding her like that. And she took on the challenge of trying to defend Caitlin Clark. Wasn't very successful. You saw the first couple possessions of the game, they started going under screens. Why would you go under screens on Caitlin Clark? Please explain that. So, I mean, you look at it from a coaching standpoint, I think Kim Mulkey was definitely outcoached in this game. Like I said, you have to switch up the defensive looks. Last-Tier Poa came in, and she tried her best to defend Caitlin Clark. But offensively, on the offensive end, yeah, she hit a couple of threes, but she's not that that big of a threat offensively. So that's kind of where the issues came with Last-Tier Poa. I was expecting to see more Flau'Jae Johnson on Caitlin Clark. They didn't really guard. Well, Flau'Jae didn't really guard Caitlin until, the last 3 minutes of the game. But by then, it's too late. Too little, too late at that point. I thought Flau'Jae was the most athletic perimeter defender, the best perimeter defender that LSU has. Not to say she's a lockdown defender or anything, but with the talent on the roster, Hailey Van Lith, Flau'Jae Johnson, Michaela Williams, Last-Tier Poa. Poa comes off the bench, and she's probably, a better defender than Hailey Van Lith, as we've seen throughout the season, because Hailey Van Lith has been struggling a little bit on both ends of the court. And Last-Tier Poa has come in for defensive reasons. So you definitely expected to see Last-Tier Poa on Caitlin, but I also expected to see a heavy dose of Flau'Jae Johnson, and I was disappointed that she didn't get the opportunity to guard her more. So I don't know if that was just a coaching scheme thing or a pride thing. But I feel like as a player, you will want to take on that challenge of saying, okay, Hailey isn't getting it done. We're struggling to defend her. Hailey, I'm going to guard her the next possession, So I was expecting to see that from Flau'Jae on the defensive end against Caitlin Clark. Of course, Caitlin is a great player. I'm not taking anything away from her. Nothing negative about her. But you have to try to slow them down. You have to try to slow down great players. You can't contain them. You can't have a less than 20-point scoring night, but you can throw different looks at it, switch up your coverages, switch up your rotations, and just switch up your looks. Try to make it as difficult as you can, and I don't think that LSU made it as difficult as they could on Caitlin Clark. And then offensively, when you look at it from the LSU perspective, right, they have a size advantage. I said that one of the things that I was going to be looking for was how can Iowa keep LSU off the boards. They were unable to do that. LSU, because of that, they had 23 offensive rebounds. They had 54 rebounds as a team. Iowa only had 36 rebounds. They only had 36 rebounds, so they out-rebounded them by 18? And then when you look at the shot attempts, LSU shot 88 shots. Iowa only shot 69. Now, granted, Caitlin Clark hit 9 threes. They made 13 as a team. They took 31 threes. And LSU is not a great shooting team from the jump. They don't shoot a lot of threes, but when you're playing Iowa, they kind of went away from what I thought they would probably do, which was dominate in the paint. And they took 24 threes in this ball game, and they only made 8. And Michaela Williams made 4 of those 8. Laster Poe hit 2 threes. And then Van Lith 1 for 6 from 3. Flau'Jae Johnson 1 for 6 from 3. But I definitely thought that, like I said, I thought LSU had the size advantage. They would go inside, and of course, Angel Reese and Murrow. I thought Murrow would be a very big X factor in this game. Scoring wise, she's a big that can get double doubles. She can score from all 3 levels. And I definitely thought that she would have attempted to take over this game. She struggled from the field a little bit. She finished with 14 points, 14 rebounds. Angel Reese, who was hobbled up after a little fall where she rolled her ankle, she finished with 17 points and 20 rebounds. And LSU just did a good job all year of drawing fouls, getting to the free throw line, and dominating in the paint. And they were just unable to do that last night against Iowa. I think they kind of, like I said, they went away from the game plan that I personally would have had for them if I were the coach, but I'm no coach. I'm just somebody with an opinion. But Michaela Williams, she got some good looks from 3. She hit a few open shots, open threes early in the game to get started. But that 3-point game for LSU just wasn't there. They're already not a deep team. They played only 7 players, but Del Rosario, who comes off the bench as a backup big, she only played 2 minutes. You have a size advantage. Use it. And I saw a post recently, that was talking about college players and just basketball in general, just being unable to make passes to the post. And I think that was an issue as well. And we saw it all throughout the weekend. You look at UCLA getting away from Lauren Betts against LSU. The coach is literally screaming at the players, get Lauren the ball. You saw it with Indiana versus South Carolina with Camila Cardozo, where USC just wanted to take jump shots instead of feeding the big. So I think a lot of more teams just need to get back to their strengths. And I think LSU got away from that last night. And you see it cost them the game. At the end of the day, they only lost by 7 points. So a few different plays go a different way, it changes the game. You make a few more shots, changes the game. You make your free throws, changes the game. And that goes for both teams. But definitely, I definitely do think that Mulkey was outcoached. And I think that's really what caused LSU to lose this big rematch game against Iowa. For Iowa, up next, they have a big matchup with UConn and Paige Beckers, 2 of the top guards in the class of 2020. And this is going to be an exciting matchup. Get your popcorn ready. It's going to be interesting to see, once again, what does UConn do to try to defend Caitlin Clark? What do they try to take away? Do they want to make her a facilitator? Do they just want her to score and get buckets? That's going to be an interesting matchup, and stay tuned. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the subscribe and the like button, and I'll catch y'all later. We out. Peace.